What's up? It's Justin Sarachik. We are here for another episode of the CHH-ish Podcast. And we are privileged to have AI the Anomaly join us. She's one of my favorite people in the space and one of my favorite people to talk to because she's amazing. She should be AI the Amazing instead of the Anomaly. She was previously signed to God Over Money. Now she is independent. She is a multi-hyphenate artist. You just say she's an artist and she probably encompasses everything that she's doing. She lives in Buffalo. She is crazy about her community and does amazing things with the Get Focused organization, which is hers. And we're going to dive into some of that stuff today. So we just need to wait until she jumps in here and we will get the conversation started. How's everyone doing? Can everyone hear me okay? Let me see. Let's see if I can invite her. AI. Okay, AI is here. AI just invited you to the conversation. Oh, super fast. Super fast. What's up?
Hey, what's up? Long time no talk?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Well, we kind of talk, maybe long time no see.
Yeah, that's
Sure.
true. That's
For
true.
sure. We get one of these like real cool interviews in every couple years.
I know, right?
Yeah,
Which is good. It's
yeah,
like a
yeah,
check-in.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's about time, and I needed to have you on this show because nobody encompasses a CHH-ish conversation more than you because you are so much more outside of just music.
Yeah.
And I know people who follow you closely will know that, but if people are only paying attention to the music, they might not have any
They're
idea.
they're definitely gonna miss it
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, so I already gave you an intro. We can give another quick intro. You are a multi-hyphenate artist. So throw artist in there and then think of a bunch of different things and you probably fit the bill somewhere. You were previously signed to God Over Money. Now you're an independent artist. I'm assuming there's music coming at some point. We'll get there. Well, that's at the end. That's the CHH portion.
Uh-huh.
And you are a poet laureate of Buffalo, New York.
Yes.
So we're going to jump into all that. People jumping in the chat right now. Also, if anyone's watching and they're not going to be able to finish or whatever, this will be live on our page afterwards, and then I'm going to cut it up. I'm going to make some clips, and it'll live on. All right.
Cool.
So let's start with the poet laureate thing in Buffalo. Like, why was that spot open, and how did your name get tossed into the hat?
So, poet laureate, if we just start off with what in the world is
Yeah.
it to begin with? It's a position, a role that is played by someone who exhibits, writing abilities, whether that's poetry, storyteller, author, or what have you, who can utilize words in order to shape content in a sense of helping individuals understand a matter, understand an event, uplift individuals, and just try to push people to, either feel some. I look at it as like I want to help people understand perspectives of something that's going on. And so I do that for the city. And so prior to me stepping into the role was carried by another poet, and she was the first poet laureate, and then I'm the second. I truly believe the reason why I was chosen to take on, to continue the legacy, if you will, is because of the work that I've done within, not only within writing and storytelling, but, the community work through entrepreneurship, within the schools, these different platforms and opportunities. I think that that's one of the purposes. And then obviously with the lived experiences, I've been in foster care as a child. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, but being able to have this skill set, I can utilize this this literary art tool in order to help individuals understand a matter in multiple ways. So that's what I would think. That's,
Right.
So this particular time around, it was mayor appointed. So it's the first time it was mayor appointed. So the mayor chose myself with I'm sure with a group of individuals, and I carried out this title.
Okay. That's amazing. And like, what are some of the responsibilities that you've done so far or have been able to do? And then how long do you actually do this for?
Yeah, so you can do it up to a year, and then if you'd like to continue on, you can, extend your time. We have an interesting thing going on in our city right now. So the mayoral torch has been passed to someone else. And so there's this a little bit of, an exchange at the moment. But as far as I'm concerned, the way that I looked at the role is to continue doing what I'm doing. It's nothing kind of new that I felt like, oh, I'm going to do this new thing. I'm just continuing being an artist. And so within my artistry, I'm a storyteller, and I
Yeah.
do that in multiple ways. So I do that as a lyricist. I do that as a producer and director of short films, of documentaries. As a founder of a company that is media led, I'm telling stories through that way. I use writing as a tool to tell stories. And so that's in a sense, what I'm doing. And I can do that poetically, maybe through free verse within this space. So I've been called a couple of times or commissioned to write for specific events. So there was like a Women's History Month. There was a Juneteenth event. There's a number of events that happen throughout the city that, at times I'll get called to, speak. And then, as per usual, even before the title or before the position, I've been commissioned to write and to do, speaking services within my city, but mostly outside of
Yeah.
the city. So yeah, been doing those types of things for some time.
It's almost like those jobs when they're like, we're going to give you a title promotion, but nothing is actually going to change. You're not going to get any more stuff. You'll just look cooler on a piece of paper is essentially what it is.
I guess. Yeah. Yeah, sure. But I really believe that this is a powerful position. And for those that are listening or, kind of it's a new term, maybe look in your city. There may be a poet laureate that is, in standing right now in your city, so
Mm-hmm.
either that, I feel like there's one for United States of America. I might be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
I should do this. I'm
You
sorry.
would think. Yeah, maybe you didn't join that club of the laureates yet, like the
Yeah.
entire United States.
Right.
You're in your one right now.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Maybe there's probably a Facebook group for it somewhere. Um, all right,
Likely.
all right. So I read that you did a lot of theater growing up.
Hmm.
So do you have any ambitions to get back to theater or any desire to act or do any of that stuff?
Yeah, so honestly, I feel like if anybody is listening or watching and you are in theater arts or have been bit by a bug within the drama space,
Hmm.
you haven't done it in a while, you start to get an itch. I definitely over the last few years have had an itch to get back on stage, to be in another stage play or production. It's nothing like it. I really enjoy taking on the challenge of becoming a character and living out that, through dialogue. And then the the life around that is really dope in my opinion, like being able to network with different people and just you create a family on stage. But
Yeah,
yes, I have a desire to get back in it. The issue has always been time and trying to figure out when I'm going to be able to do that. I'm the type of person, if I'm going to do something, I want to make sure I'm committed. And to take on a role for stage play, you have to be committed because you have to learn your lines. You have to be you not only present, but you have to be mentally present for that. Not physically present, but mentally present in order to give the rest of your cast members all of what they need in order to put on a good production. So I would have to find a pocket of time to do that. However, what's dope is at times when I do like video productions on a like a music video, if I'm doing a song or something,
Yeah.
there are some theatrical moments that happen for
Yeah.
that.
Sure.
It's still not the same at all. It's on film. It's different from being on a stage play. It's the vast difference. So yeah, it doesn't feed the the hunger that I have, but it's enough for now, I guess.
So you talk about the itch. So
Hmm.
how different is the itch, or as you said, the hunger, when it's like you're acting in a play and you're being someone else, or you're rapping on stage, you're talking about yourself?
I think that I get to be authentic on stage when I step into the space of performing. So I'm me. However, there are theatrical tools and drama tools that can be used to enhance the presentation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So obviously projecting the voice, using hand gestures. There's a passion that you have to step into in order to really allow for people to really feel what you're trying to say, feel what it is that you're trying to, the emotion that you're trying to get across. So there are those aspects. I wouldn't necessarily call it acting, though I do believe in the understanding of like what Shakespeare talked about as far as all the world's a stage and we are merely, characters with entrances and exits and what have you. I do believe we're taking on a role. Like you're taking on the role of Justin, right? And then depending on what you're doing determines how you move. You still yourself,
I got
but
you.
you
Yeah.
move in a different way, depending on what's going on. Like how I am in a board meeting me is definitely not going to be the same as me on stage performing, so
Right. Well,
there's
just
these
like
roles.
just like in an hour when we jump off of here and my kids come running through the door and
Exactly.
it's absolute chaos. Well, all right, I'm a dad now.
Exactly. Yeah, when my kids come out, I'm like, if you don't go sit down, it's a whole different, it's AI mommy mode, you know. Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good stuff. Now, what about, like, are curating art and curating music compatible? Like, I'm thinking even in terms of when you sequence an album, all these songs have to kind of fit this puzzle. And when you're setting up an exhibit, you have things in certain places how you want people to walk through.
Yeah, I truly believe it's very similar in the sense of the sequence of it to some degree. Each one is a different medium which has its own, in my opinion, like dialect. So I believe art is a language. Every medium is a different dialect. And so when it comes to the process of music making, for me, music, like I've said, I've said this throughout the years because it's just who I am. Music is my medicine. It's my remedy. It's not something that I just do like, oh, I'm gonna create an album, put it out for everybody to listen to. I'm creating music because I personally need it. I need to breathe. Music is
Yeah.
breathing for me. And when it comes to creating an album based off of what I created as far as music is concerned, it is kind of curatorial for me because I have a catalog of music that I've created because I'm crying or I'm joyous or I'm trying to make sense of something that's happening in the world. And so I create music. I have a whole bunch of it. But then I'm like, you know what? I think I'm ready to like share this section of work. And so I have to go into the catalog and see like, okay, what's the theme that's going on that I feel like that's happened during a season of time that I was in when I created this music
Yeah.
or created this art. And so I'm going to go through that and see, okay, curatorially, how does all of this mesh together? And then what do I need to add in order for it to come together that in a way in which people can digest it, and it becomes like a full concerted event, if you will, or an exhibition. Like, remember Blank Canvas? I spoke that language of like, this is an exhibition. Every song is a canvas. and you kind of just walking through this exhibition of sorts. But then you have the art piece, where it's like the photos. Like for me, I use photography, I use poetry,
Right.
I mix it all in there, and then I exhibit it on the actual walls. So yeah, it's definitely something that's very similar to each other.
Yeah. I love the word curatorial.
Yeah,
I don't know if I've ever used that before as a word, curatorial.
but then
But
you're definitely a curator.
I have been a curator, but I have never been curatorial.
You don't think so?
No. I'm saying I've never been that in using the word. So
Gotcha.
if like
Understood.
I'll be like,
Understood.
yo, I'm just a curator. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
good. That's the word. We're learning here. I'm learning here. I've written a lot of words, but I haven't written all of them, so that's a new one for me. All right. So you recently wrapped up the Tales from the Porch series, the 4th installment.
yeah.
So can you talk about those whole processes and then leading up to it? Gam fam. I've never heard that either, and I'm definitely using that word one day. Gam
Okay,
fam.
that's what's up.
All right. Yeah. So the Tales from the Porch series.
Yeah, Tales from the Porch it started off as a curiosity, and I honestly also like an opportunity for me to go through a process to fight against the stereotypes that were plagued against my side of the city, which is the east side of Buffalo. Our city is really segregated. It's heavily segregated. And there's a lot of things that are said about different sections of our city. And I grew up always hearing negative about the side of the city that I lived on. Now, this side of the city, I feel privileged to come from. Yes, it has violence and things like that, but it's also beauty. And so, what I wanted to do is go out into the community and hear from the community about my side. But during the time doing that, I said, you know what? I might as well stretch across the other sides of the city to maybe push against my own stereotypes.
Yeah.
People say that the South Side is racist, and so let me go over there and actually experience it for myself. And, of course, there's racism. There's racism, I feel like, everywhere. However, there's also neighborly efforts of people. At the end of the day, everywhere you
Right.
go, there's going to be human beings who are going to go through life and make decisions and have responses based off of their perspectives. And perspectives are shaped by experiences. And so my whole idea was, well, let me take my camera, let me take my mind and my creativity, and let me use my words in order to kind of capsulize what it is that the people are saying, what it is they see about their side, and then let me showcase it so that people could come together and learn from one another and rub shoulders together and create community. So that's kind of the basis of Tales from the Porch. And so that started in about 2019 was the first exhibition.
Yeah.
That was, partly funded by Anne Frank Project through Buffalo State College.
Awesome.
At the time. It's Buffalo State University now. And then the second one was, the second was really hefty because of the tragedy that happened in Buffalo, which is really like a turning point for me within my life. Like I just completely like shut down and I stayed in my city and I just dedicated my time there. I didn't really travel much. And I focused on 7 Black leaders in our city to tell their story about how they're impacting community, regardless of whatever is going on, how they're impacting community through their porch. Porch is a platform.
Right.
And so that's what I did. And then the third one was all about helping emerging artists tell their own porch stories and respond to the stories that I told through their own art. So that was just like a training ground for emerging artists, and they were able to exhibit their work. And then the fourth one was about 5 artists within our city. And then we created a 45-minute documentary, which the music is original. It's all, I wrote all the
That's
music. Carolina Blue,
Yep.
created all the music, and that is stitched throughout the full documentary.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. Um, I Another series that you worked on, I think it was like a few years back, you were kind of traveling to different people within CHH.
Yeah.
I think you were doing it with your son. Remember you
Mm-hmm.
telling me you did Cadence, right? Derek Minor and a few
Yep.
others.
Mm-hmm.
Um, are you gonna, I know you're really hyper focused on your city now, but is that something more along the lines that you would love to kind of revisit or do?
Yes. I would absolutely love to revisit that. It was such a, you know, a lot of times, I'll say this, like a lot of times, and I'll get to the point, but a lot of times as artists that are like in the light, or if you will, or people are looking at, artists as like, oh man, they got all this is amazing. Like I'm a person, I'm a real person, and I was going through so much during that time, and my son was going through a
Mhm.
lot. And so I
You were
created
telling me.
the opportunity to travel with my son. Not to mention it was like the pandemic among that, and something was going on. My heart's desire was to go to these different cities and take my son to create an opportunity for us to just get away. He needed to get away. And so we went to each of these artists to hear about what they're doing to impact their community, because I'm a firm believer that it's not just about the music. Like a lot of people, look at that. It's important, of course. There's language or messages that you can share through music. I get that, but then there's also individuals who love music, but they love the community so much that they sacrifice themselves in order to create opportunities for people within their space. And I wanted to be able to showcase that for these different individuals. And we filmed, and then our family got hit with a lot of different chaotic stuff, and then our city got hit, and so all of that footage is just kind of sitting there. So I would love to dig into that. I actually have a cool plan on pulling that out and releasing it. So I'm excited about it.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Yeah, keep me updated with that for sure.
Yeah.
Um, now you talking about community and working with students and interns and volunteers and all these different people. How important is it to give these people this hands-on experience in the arts and actually let them physically do these things when maybe they wouldn't have had a chance to?
I mean, it's super important. It's the main reason why I'm 100% within this space of creativity. Um, I have a full blown 100% creative career. I don't have a traditional job. I operate within the creatives. I own um, two businesses. I would say three if it was like a complete DBA. But I believe it's important for those who are creatives and are artists to see that it is actually something that you can achieve, and it can be sustainable. Contrary to what society tells you, they think that creatives and artists are just, out here starving. I'm definitely not starving. I eat pretty good, and then that with the added support of my husband, and us working together as a team in collaboration, able to provide for our family. I think that part of it, being able to provide for your family with something that you love to do. My husband teaches. He loves to teach. He is part of the board of education here in Buffalo. And then I'm an artist, creative, entrepreneur. I love to do that. And so that adds value to our lives, and then it adds value to our children's lives. I believe that first and foremost, as foundation, that people should be able to experience that. So I make it a point
Yeah.
to create opportunities for other entrepreneurs within the arts to experience that. So I'm leveraging my platform, whether it's through, you know, as a national recording artist, whether it's through me speaking in different entities in different spaces, whether it's me working within Get Focused Productions, however I'm moving in my life as far as like my values, my beliefs, how I move and try to move with excellence. My reputation allows for people to jump on and do you and be great, be an artist, but learn and grow and develop and continue to add value to your family. You feel me? So I think it's very vital and very important. Like, I can't stress enough how important it is. A lot of times people hear you're a creative entrepreneur, you're an artist, and they think, oh man, that's cute. Like you do like little arts things.
All the
Like
time.
like
All
no,
the
like
time.
I'm a boss. Like I'm out here doing the work that needs to be done, but I do it in a sense of being sustainable. We are financially fit because we're operating in the spaces that we love. But the reason why it's sustainable is because my foundation within my faith and because I follow biblical principles and I add that to my life. And that's why, loving people unconditionally, making sure I'm doing what I can to be the best that I can. If I fault or if I fail, I'm making sure that I'm going to that person and I'm reconciling. I'm doing right by people. You know what I mean? So those things are important as well when it comes to this.
Yeah, I mean, there's no greater feeling than, I work with a lot of artists or a lot of different writers that come through Rapzilla,
Mm.
and there's no greater feeling than like teaching them, training them, molding them, developing them, and then watching them go off and be
Man,
great. Sometimes even better than you were, and you're just like, dang, I did too well with that one. But no, but it's always,
I
but
love
it's always, no, I love it too.
it.
It's always a blessing because then it just creates more opportunity for people, and then
Like
you're creating opportunity for people, and then they go off and they can create opportunity for people,
opportunity.
and it just
Right.
keeps going and going and
And
going.
that's how it should be. That's how it should be. Being able to be in a position to say, hey, look, I've done all these things. Learn from me and let my ceiling be your floor. Go and be great, because I need you to be great. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm gonna work hard at what I do, like let's make it practical so
Yeah.
people kind of like touch it, right? Me and my husband worked together. We collaborated. We worked hard for where we are today, and he's been very supportive in my creative craziness, that organized craziness. But we were able to work hard and invest and be able to like buy a second home and sell our first home and invest. And then everybody that we have working within our house are part of our circle. That is why I
Mhm.
invest in the creatives that are surrounding me, because I want them to be able to provide for themselves, but not only provide for themselves, but provide for their families too. And it's definitely possible if you move as a good steward, if you do the things that are taught to you. In my opinion, from my perspective, this is all I know because this is what I follow, but biblical principles,
Mhm.
you know.
Man, you jacked my whole next question. I'm gonna ask it, even a specific
Word.
thing about it. I'm gonna ask it anyway to see if it sparks more thoughts. But I was gonna talk about your Instagram post about you buying a new home, and you kept repeating the words "we worked." You
Yep,
brought it up. You brought it up again.
we
So
did.
just the idea of this husband and wife and this family unit sort of all buying into each other and working together to accomplish a goal.
Yep.
Like, what is what does that mean, and why would you, I guess, maybe encourage people as a family unit to support each other in that way?
Yeah, I think that it's so much that can be said. So let me make sure that I want to make sure I'm condensing it enough so I'm not all over the place, because there's so much that can be said about two people coming together and working as one. I'll speak to the grind of it and the beauty within that grind. Marriage is already, first of all, it's a beautiful thing that was created by God for us to enjoy, and I'm grateful for it. And I'm grateful to be able to be within this unit. And it's also challenging, but I'm up for the challenge. I'm down for that.
Right.
And through the challenges, I've been able to be a better I've been able to grow and to develop into a better person. But this idea of the grind, we didn't have what we had when we first got together. I was in a space mentally and spiritually, and he was in a space mentally and spiritually. And I was grinding on my own and doing whatever that I could do. And I was a single mother at that time, trying the best that I can, and I didn't want any kind of distractions. And here he came trotting along within my life, but he was very stewardess. He was very kind, considerate, passionate, and I still didn't give him the time of day. One of the things that stood out for me is his persistence, but what really did it for me is his heart for community. And that never changed. When I got to know him and actually developed a relationship with him, I realized that his heart was about the community, the very community that I was part of. You know what I'm saying? So then to see him in action. And so when he pursued me, because I wasn't in pursuit of anything but God, I was just focused on taking care of my son, being educated, and handling what I need to handle at my job. When he constantly pursued me, I said, you know what? I deserve love, and I'm glad that I made that decision. From then, we grinded. We came together and said, this is what we would like to do. Let's put our time, energy, and efforts together, and let's build. And let's be patient with this build. Let's endure with this build. And I think that coming together with both understanding the foundation of faith and knowing that we will not stray from this and there's no other option, that continue to build us up and to become stronger and stronger as a force, and then to be able to get to where we are today. Like my husband just received notice that he's a master teacher, which is a high, it's a high title. I'm real proud of him, but he worked his behind off of that. And I was right behind him, on the side of him and in front of him, telling him, you better keep on going.
Awesome.
And then for me, being able to run this business and to grow and develop the way that I'm developing, he was behind me, pushing and motivating me, on the side of me and in front of me, telling me, you better not quit. And so you need that. And then that force, it's my dog, stop it. And then that force allows for you two to work together, and then your children get to see that. Understand where I come from. I did not see mom and dad in the house. As a matter of fact, I didn't even have my biological mother or father. So I already started at a deficit. But I learned that in having a family, that's one of the important factors. Besides faith, it's one of the important factors to grow community. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yes, like that is definitely important. And I encourage the married folk out there to keep doing it, keep pushing. It's difficult at times, but don't let anything stop you from the unity that you're supposed to have. You know, it's a tough time out here. Marriages are being tested and tried very, really crazily out here.
Right. No, that's such amazing like words of wisdom there. And how long did it take you to be able to become this full-time creative? You know, after getting married and working together, and then how long have you been a full-time creative?
Oof. Okay, so full time. So the first question, how long did it take me? I'm gonna be real with you. I'm a firm believer that once I once I realized that I was an artist, I believe that everybody is a creative. We were created by a creator. We're creative. Whether you're an artist with that creativity, or just, you wake up and you design what it is that you're going to step out in. You're going to design, like, hey, choosing a job and putting that stuff together and trying to figure out how you're going to showcase your life. You're a creative. Now, as far as an artist is concerned, I fell in love with writing at a very young age. That developed over time. So my full-time entrepreneurship as a creative has to kind of start there, because
Okay.
that's the foundation of it. That's the seed of it. Now, then, if we're talking about professional, if you will, and things like that, I've had the privilege to be taught by individuals within the community how to handle myself, not only as an employee, but if I ever wanted to go into the business space, here's how you conduct yourself. Here's how you manage yourself, your time, your energy. Here's how you respond to, conflict and problems and things like that. So I feel like I was being molded into what I am today as a teenager,
Okay.
because I was
Gotcha.
afforded opportunities to learn that from individuals who were already skilled within that. So I'd say in my teens for sure. And that's where I got a taste of earning money, through video productions and through photography. I started to earn money at about 15 through, photography. There was a council member. She was a council member. I think she's still in the political yes, she definitely is in a political space here in our city. She was one of the first people who invested in a photograph of mine, and she still has it. And when you do that to a young person, you open up their mind, and you're like, oh shoot, I can make money off of this. And I
Yeah.
never let that go, so I continue to pursue, an opportunity within that. Now, then we get into full time, which means that you have no other connections to any, everyday like job, if you will, because it still is a job.
Of course.
This is a job. You know what I mean? And I don't work for, this idea of I don't work for nobody or I work for myself. No, I work for the community. I still serve my clients. I'm working for people. So as an entrepreneur, I don't take on a mindset, oh, I'm just out here, I'm just my own boss. No, my clients have things they need and I provide them that. But I'd say full-time artist, full-time professional. I want to say we're heading into like a 7-year situation. Yep,
Okay.
it's about 7 years.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
But I've been in business going on 13 years.
Okay. I got you.
Yep.
Man, those were more gems. Somebody in here said, where can they send the offering? Because you're preaching.
All right, L Biz. So real quick,
that cash app.
L Biz, y'all gotta tap into L Biz. He is and he's an artist. He's an amazing individual. He's a father, husband, artist within our city. And I would also say a mentor to a lot of younger artists and also professional artists and emerging artists. He's definitely dope. Tap in. That's Backpack Mafia. He does beat battles in our city. He's done a lot of work. And he also is connected to Carolina Blue.
Okay.
We all family here.
Okay. Yeah, I see you're getting lots of love in here. Your husband was in here too. I saw him. I don't know if
Oh,
he's
he
still in
must be teaching.
here. He probably snuck to the bathroom real quick. Was
I
like
bet he's showing
support. And
his students. His students are probably watching this.
said, look how cool my wife is. All right.
Exactly.
So I wanna be respectful of your time. So it's the last question.
I'm good.
We've covered the ish portion of the program. So let's do the CHH portion.
Word.
What's good with some new AI the Anomaly music? What's going on? You're an independent artist now. What's going on?
Yeah, so if you take all of what I said, you realize that music is just another medium within all of this. It's another opportunity for me to tell stories. So for me, I don't necessarily, and I respect the language of it, like Christian hip hop, CHH. Once again, like music to me is a remedy. So I've been making music. I haven't stopped. I can't stop. I can't stop making music.
I believe it.
I need to do it.
I believe it.
So I have a whole bunch of music that's sitting. Like I said, part of this documentary, there's a lot of music. A couple years ago, when we had that tragedy, I did a whole album, but I needed to do it for me because I had to make sense of what was going on. Still didn't make sense. The tragedy that had happened in our city. And I created a soundtrack for that particular project, but I never released it. I had every intention to release it, but there's things that occurred. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to have to sit down and really kind of consider when I'll release some of this music. I don't have a date. I just have a strong desire to want to get some of this music out next year because I love it. I think it's really good.
Yeah.
I think it's insightful. I think that, those who indulge in it will kind of understand whatever I was going through at that time, whatever I was saying, and hopefully they listen and apply some of the things that I've learned to their life if they like to. I think it will open up great dialogue. So I'd say 2025.
Okay.
You know.
And are you recording this Because you said you never stopped recording. So are you recording on your own? You're going to a studio? You're working with people? How do
So
you do it?
it's a mixture. So for
Okay.
the most part, I'm locked in with Carolina Blue.
Yeah.
So I'm usually recording with him. However, my brother has gained such a beautiful promotion, and he is no longer in Buffalo. He just left Buffalo. I'll leave it to him to say. I don't know if he wants to share where he is, but he moved. We're still in contact. I have this set up to record on my own, but I'm always going to send my music over to him. I respect his ear and respect our friendship and his knowledge base on making it sound like how we need it to sound. So for the most part, I work with Blue, but I'm open to work with other people who, could provide somewhat similar or have an understanding of like the sound that I'm looking for.
Okay. So any producers in here, go and do your homework before you DM AI and figure out what that sound is. And then you
Yeah,
can hit her up. Don't waste her time. She's
don't.
busy. She is super busy.
Because
All
I won't waste my time. I'm gonna be honest, I will not waste my time.
right.
Listen to
That,
anything. I'm gonna be
that, that, that's how I feel with a lot of things. People come to me with all these plans and they want me to execute it. And I'm like, no, this is your plan.
yeah,
How are you going to execute it?
exactly.
Oh, well, okay, don't waste my
Yeah.
time. Don't waste my
I
time.
don't have it to waste.
All right. So I lied. Final question I'm going to throw back to you, though.
No, you
We talked about a broad range of things that make you you. So is there something that we didn't touch on that's really important to you, that you're passionate about, that the people need to know, or are we good?
Oh man, there's so many things that people don't know, and you're probably not going to get it all right here. It's just one of those things where I always like joke when people ask, like, okay, can you kind of let people know how they can find you? Literally, you come to Buffalo. I don't know what else to tell you.
Come
Come
see
to
me in
Buffalo
Buffalo.
and just hang with me for a day. But in all seriousness, one of the things that a couple of things that I'm very, very happy about and very excited about are the boards that I sit on and the work that the entities are doing. For example, I sit on the board of CEPA Gallery, CEPA, and it's a contemporary photographic gallery that really works to educate the public about photographic works. They have an educational department. This is the organization that I learned photography from. And so I now sit on the board. I've been sitting on the board for some years now. And I dedicate my time, energy, and efforts for the most part, to support their education department. There is a program called Photography Works, which was developed and designed so that young photographers can learn under seasoned photographers. But these individuals, these students and participants are able to utilize a camera that they get to keep, a high
Wow.
quality DSLR camera. And so my company typically supports through funding, with other funders. We're not the only funders to support this particular program. And so I'm very proud of SEPA. I'm very proud of this particular program. There's multiple students who have went through this program and have gone on to be really successful and great. If you want to learn more about SEPA Gallery, definitely go to sepagallery.org. If you want to donate funds to this particular program, please do so, because this helps these students. One of the other thing is called Photography Works, right? So these students are able to go out into the community and gather, contractual opportunities, capture photography, and earn income. And so the funds help support that. And so I'm real proud of them. There's a lot of students have worked with Get Focused Productions. A lot of those students have worked in many different organizations within our city. Definitely proud of that. That's one. The other thing is Buffalo State University. So this is my alma mater. And so I chose to go back to my alma mater and to serve. And I serve by the way of sitting on the board as an active member, specifically to a scholarship called the Grit Scholarship. And so students, this funding source, thanks to Mike Bonatanabis and some other funders who came together and said, hey, there are some students who may not be that great academically, but they have so much going on in their life and their challenges in their life that may get in the way of them succeeding, but they have grit and they're still earning a high level grades, but they may need a little help financially. And so
Yeah.
what we're doing is helping them financially through this fund, but going even a step further to say, let me help you not only get past this financial burden by completely depleting the financial burden because of this fund, but also let's provide you with financial support and literacy.
Awesome.
So we have a financial literacy program called Ball that we're working with, and they're helping these students understand how to maintain their finances so they may not have to come back to this funding source again. But they're also linked up with individuals within the college to support them during the process. So this is something that I'm constantly working alongside and pulling in funds. So if you want to support me, support these entities that are supporting individuals within the community. So go to Buffalo State University, look up the Grit Scholarship. There's other spaces that you could put funds in, and then look up SEPA Gallery and support them as well. So these are the two things that I feel very proud of, and obviously my church. Shout out to not Central Academy. That's where my son goes to school. Christ Crusaders Assembly, CCA, with Pastor Stephen Foreman. We run a program called Mentoring Your Attitude. And so Steve teaches cooking. He's a regional executive chef. And with the funds that we gain through a grant, these young people, they're all teenagers. There's about 15 of them who come to our church, and he's teaching them how to cook. Like they
That's
just
cool.
cooked fried chicken yesterday. No, chicken fingers yesterday. So anyway, these are the things that I'm very proud of and that you may not always see because I'm not someone that always posts these particular things, but I definitely wanted to voice it. I'm very proud of these three kind of things that I have my hands in.
No, that's perfect because you don't have time to necessarily post anything because you're actually doing the work. So completely understandable.
Should have took that.
Okay. I think that's your sign to go.
Yeah, I got to go.
But yeah, I've been to Buffalo once, and it was to see my wife graduate from college, but she went to UB. So
Oh, sweet.
that
UB is dope too.
yeah, okay. I didn't know if there was a thing
Oh
between.
no,
Okay,
actually, I've done some work with UB. I've done some entrepreneurial, classes and speaking engagements there. So yeah, it's all good.
okay. All right, everyone. I'm gonna let AI go because the actual city is calling her. But I'll be talking to you soon. She's gonna be doing something really dope with
Yeah,
Rapzilla in a couple of weeks.
yeah,
Maybe y'all will see
yeah.
some
Excited.
clips with that. But thank you so much. Always a pleasure to talk to you, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
And thank you for your consistent. I gotta say this, Rapzilla has been consistent in supporting me throughout my time within CHH. Consistently, from day one, you guys put me on a platform. You were giving me opportunities. I know Chad, we worked together
Mhm.
years ago, constantly giving me opportunities. And I'll never forget that. So, which is why I always kind of come back and connect. And I don't forget things like that. And it was never a thing of like, oh man, you're going to get big. I want to attach to this bigness that you're going to have. It was never that. Y'all came to me before I even knew that I wanted to continue to pursue
You,
music.
you weren't
So
trying to rap
I
when we came to you. You were like,
I was.
I don't know if I'm a rapper. It's like, excuse me. That might have been the only mistake you've made. As we're talking about like arts and stuff. I'm sure you've made other mistakes that you would
Oh, I made a
throw
whole
up.
bunch of
But
mistakes.
but I'm saying in terms of like your belief in
Yeah,
yourself, we've always believed in you, and you've never given us a reason to doubt you or anything that you've been doing.
appreciate
So
it.
so it's always love.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
All
All
right,
right, y'all take care.
all right. Talk to you later.
All right,
Bye.
bye.
All right, everyone. That was AI the Anomaly. Her story is amazing. And like I said at the top of this interview, she's one of my favorite people to speak to, even if it's not at an interview, because she's always doing something cool. She's always helping people. If you tuned in late, don't worry. This is going up on Instagram right after I get out of here. I'm also going to upload it to YouTube so you can watch it there if you want. There's going to be clips. There's going to be all that. Next week, I think, I have to confirm with him, we may have Miles Minnick on here. He said yes, but I have to follow up with him. So stay tuned for next week. And again, watch this interview back. Last week we had Jeannie Ortega. The week before that we had Fern. And then previous to that, there was like 7 months. I did a whole bunch of interviews like 7 months ago at the top of the year. I needed a break. But we're going strong right now. And yeah, everyone have a good day and have a good Thanksgiving, which I'll probably say again next week. Peace.